from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer. With boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
On the table, I hope you buy it. Me and the boys come to give you a parang. We ain't living till the liquor done. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. Come on fellas, let me take a next one. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. We have about 10 months to clean. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. We drinking from paint to kerosene. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. It's Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas! Hey! Last year we went by Ballyram. He placed man and Heidi Ham. Bring one bottle of baba. The thing finished with one lash. Have to leave the man house quick. He say his wife was feeling sick. That same night she was lying in the quizzy. Well, if we think that he gets away. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. We go in by he and spend the whole day. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. We eating and drink everything he bring. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. When we leave there he mustn't have a thing. Oh yo yo yeah yeah yeah. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas. entertain this parang band. When the music in we vein and the liquor it we bring, this band could drink on carry band fun and dance. When you see we landing, oi oi oi, the only thing remaining is just fun. Oi oi oi, people just love their door run and hide. Oi oi oi, when they see the signs of this parang sign. Oi oi oi, it's Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas, Merry Christmas. Oi, baila, baila. Lord, get it. This whole night sprung along, timing with the parang. He drink by everybody. We decided to go by. When we reach in front the gate, we know it was a mistake. The man wife came out cussing him, she 90. He wife quarreling, we feeling bad. Oi oi oi, he had to entertain me in the yard. Oi oi oi, the man didn't shame his he tell we come. Oi oi oi, he bring out 2 cokes and a nip of rum. Oi oi oi, it's Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas, Merry Christmas. The parang does start on Christmas Day. Oi oi oi, and we don't stop until Ash Wednesday. Oi oi oi, so bring out the songs, bring out the bailout. Oi oi oi, bring out the dashing and the bacalao. Oi oi oi, we drinking sorry ginger beer whiskey. Oi oi oi, anything you bring is alright with we. Oi oi oi, oi oi oi, oi oi oi,
Rise up. It's the NETT Radio Breakfast Show. Bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Well, good morning, everybody. Yeah, wake up, rise up. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to Tobago. Oh, my word. How are you people doing? Neighbors in the Caribbean, how are you doing this morning? Friends, family, those of you streaming all around the globe, different time slots, a very special good Monday morning to you. And of course, thank you so much for being with us here on NETT Radio. It's a beautiful, it's a gorgeous, it's a wonderful Monday morning, yeah. As always, I want to say much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. And all that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing unto you. Sir Charles, that is me, yeah. Happy to be in the space with you as always. As you welcome everybody, and I mean everybody, that means you too. So you get up and go breakfast show.
Get up, it's the time to start the day. The breakfast show is here, we bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Morocco's Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Good morning. Good morning. Open your eyes, feel the light. Everything's gonna be alright. Good morning. We're wishing you a colorful day. Let the sunshine guide you on your way. Smile a little, let your worries fade. Good morning. May your heart feel light and free. So much joy in everything you see. Good morning, yeah. a beautiful day. Good morning.
Good morning. It's such a beautiful day. Oh my word. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing this morning? It's a really wonderful Monday morning. I want to welcome everybody inside of this this new week, this new day, and I trust that all is well with you. Hope that you guys had a really wonderful weekend. But all in all, it's nice to have you here on the Breakfast Show. Of course, yes, I'm yours, Sir Charles, checking in, and well, today it's Monday, and coming out of the weekend, I know Richard had a very hectic weekend as always, so I'm hoping that he will join me in between here. Wendell is, I don't know how to describe him this morning, but he may also join us, but he may not also. He's kind of tied up with some stuff. But if he does, well, we welcome him. If not, well, then we move forward. But I do apologize if he did not, because he was supposed to be here, all dressed in nothing. For all of you ladies, especially, who would have been looking out for him this morning. This morning he was supposed to be getting up with nothing on, because he had promised if Cabo Verde lost the game, he was coming here naked. Well, at least be a bear down there. But I don't know if that is why I'm not seeing him this morning. But boy, whenever he gets here, he will have to pay that debt to you guys, because I know you all are looking out for it, right? So if not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, but whenever he gets here, I will definitely remind him. Yeah, you have to probably put on one of those, what let's call those things, this kind of sack kind of thing. You have a name for it. I can't remember the name right now. I don't want to go and say the wrong thing. But yeah, good morning to everybody locked on. Oh my gosh, well, I suppose you guys enjoyed the rain. We've been getting some rains overnight. I did not hear any of it. Normally, I would hear, but it had to be real pounding rain for me to hear it, because where I am located, unless it is real heavy rain, that's the only way I just already hear it. I'm in between floors, so it had to have real thunder, lightning, real noise taking place outside for me to recognize that. But I understand there was a lot of rain. I see people in the West have been saying, they've been getting a lot of rain. Mr. Billy, Power Magazine team, I know you guys have been having a lot of rain. Other places in the East, it seems that the East is always have rain. It's like the bucket, So yeah, and then of course places like Santa Cruz, Maracas Valley, normally have a lot of rain also. So we wherever it is, but I welcome the rain, because at the end of the day, I love the rain, and I'm sure that I don't already have rain that has really interrupt too many things. I mean, if you're going out, you might be doing an event, you're going out to a party or some whatever it is. You get rain, it's not really what you really want. So at that point in time, of course, you end up with the rain. But other than that, I think in TNT, the rain comes down in a nice kind of way. You get a couple hours at best. It, gives the place enough time to run off, and then it rains again sometimes. When we really get into the rainy season in a heavy kind of way, we might get a little more rain and get a little flooding in some areas, where we can't deal with that. Everybody start to complain. But for now, over the last couple of months, it's been coming down really nicely. I've been just loving myself, and every opportunity I get, I go out and I take a bath. Once it have no thunder and lightning, because bathing in rain with thunder and lightning, you don't know when it might strike, and you don't want to be fried outside there. So, but other than that, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. So I'm hoping that you guys are having a really good and fantastic day.
Yeah. All right. Yes. I'm ready. You guys have. We're gonna be doing the best that we can to make sure we keep you entertained here on the breakfast show. Um, all in all, I think I had a really decent weekend. I didn't really have the opportunity uh, to really move around much this weekend, but that's how most weekends are these days with me because of all our commitments at the station, this to do, that to do. But all in all, I know people went out, they had a good time. I know Richard would have had his plays. For those of you that went out to the plays, well, hey, great for you. Um, Hope you enjoyed. Actually, I'm sure that you enjoyed the play. And we are also getting ready for our boat cruise coming up on the 15th of August. So don't forget that date, right? The 15th of August. Remember, we are inviting everybody to come out and come and meet and greet with everybody. Come and meet the presenters on the station. Come and meet the DJs on the station and let them get to meet you also. It's always nice when somebody comes up to you and say, hey, I am so and so. I say, okay. But on the boat, very cool. Bring it. Or come in. Yeah. But, it's going to be a nice one. And we look forward to, meeting with you guys. And we want you all to come and meet and hang with us also. Remember, your tickets are available. They're outside there. So make sure you get your tickets. Right now, they're just $200. And you can pick them up at, let me give you the outlets one time. So you could go today and get your tickets. You could go to Rombox in St. James. You could go to Crosby's in St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kirap, Fats International in Rima, also at Key Square Fashions there at Eastgate Mall, West Mall, and C3 Center. All right, but whatever you do, just get your tickets. Okay, so let me do our good news, and then we will come back and talk about some of the other things that are happening in this space. So good news is straight ahead.
It gives me great pleasure to recognize these outstanding students, and I'll call the names in alphabetical order. All right? Okay, remember what I said before. The first name, not number one. St. Peter's Private, Catherine Ajoda. You could stand when your name is called. Thank you. Cura Presbyterian, Amara Batan. Karani Hindu, Shivan Khan. Debe Hindu, Shazana Mohammed. Montrose Government, Adam Ningtang. Trinidad Renaissance Preparatory, Liam Rajnath. Thank you. San Fernando TML, Ethan Ramlakhan Singh. Thank you, Ethan. Montrose Government, David Ramlakhan. Mono Road, Hindu, Vivek Supasad Maharaj. Thank you. And when I did the calculations, I'll tell you that separating some of the students was 0.084 in some cases, to tell you how these students have achieved outstanding results.
All right, so that is our good news for this morning. Of course, congratulations to all the SEA students. I know it's it's one of the exams that really creates a lot of anxiety for a lot of students, and of course your parents also. And those are the top 9 students in Trinidad and Tobago the way that we have performed. So congratulations to all of them and to all those who did not do as well. We have to encourage them to do better all the time, and do your best. That at the end of it all, that is all we can ask you to do. Do your best, and sometimes that's all that is needed. It's even if you did not do too well, it's not the end of the world. It could actually be the beginning of something good, because sometimes when you get knocked down, that is when you tend to really pick yourself up, and you say, I knocked down, but I'm not staying down. And you go out there and continue to, just continue to do your best. That is all we can ask of you. And once you continue to do that, you will be okay. All right. To all our football fans outside there, oh my gosh, man, on Friday, I remember I told you guys, in spite of everything, I did not really have taken the World Cup. It's only in pieces I've been watching the games. But of course, on Friday, I had to go and sit down and watch the game, because my team, which I'm backing, which is Argentina, came up against Cabo Verde. And that is a team, the name and all things was causing controversy in between there, right? So whether you're saying Cabo, they played Argentina. So they were fighting for 3 spots that were available there, 14, 15, 16. It was the last set of people going to try to make it into the round of 16. Boy, man, I must admit, congratulations to Cabo Verde, first of all. They really put on a fight, and they looked like true champions, coming up against Argentina. And they really put their best. I think their fans and their countrymen should be very, very proud of them, because they really played well. When I tuned into the game had already started. So as I logged on, I saw one in favor of Argentina. I said, right, of course, as I expect that. There's a big team. There's no big teams that function. Big team just come out and beat people, and sometimes they beat people bad. So that's all right. Come on, right? First goal, Messi. Say, hey, all right, power to Messi going forward. So now I sat down to watch the game, and then boom, Cabo came and scored. I said, all right, okay, nothing wrong with that. Everything good. Early days, game looking good, and that sort of thing. And I think that's where the game went down, and forced them into extra time and stuff. Because I had plenty times after that, I told myself, okay, well, Argentina going up here, but plenty misses. But Cabo Verde giving them a run. The team really played well. And then we went into extra time. I said, all right, see what Argentina went up again. I said, right, things looking good. Actually, at that point in time, in extra time, I said, that's the end of that. But they say football is a game. Not until that whistle blew, you could consider any team winning. So the game in extra time, to boom, I see Cabo Verde come back and score again. I said, what madness is this? I said, this team ain't going away at all. And eventually, I don't know how to consider it. Some people will say it's luck. Some people will say it's misfortune. Because I'm watching the game going down now, and the team is inspired after that second goal. The team is running, and they are looking dangerous. Now, when you're playing a big team, and you reach that point where time is running down, big teams just get real nervous. But I know as a fan, I just get nervous, because one mistake at that point in time, in extra time, if Cabo came and scored at that point in time, that's the end. They're going and destroy. Argentina can hardly come back from that. But coming down at the end, it was 111th minute of the game. Cross from Messi, And no, it was it was a corner, and the Argentine defender would jump up, and that man hit a header, and it ricocheted, if you want to call it that way, off of the Cabo Verde player, and it went into the goal. Well, if he wasn't able to go into the goal anyhow, but so Argentina was not credited with the goal. Cabo Verde got an own, they will be credited with having an own goal. But boy, that was a real tense game, at least for me. After that, I watched no more football after that for the weekend, Even when Brazil get licks, and I know Trinidad and Tobago, oh my word, would have been seriously in a tailspin watching Brazil, being kicked out of the World Cup also. But it's at this point in time, as you said, somebody has to win and somebody's going to lose. And we saw a number of that happening over as you got into the round of 16. We saw Morocco. Morocco played like a real champion, coming up against Canada. 3 convincing goals, 3-0, Man, Morocco kicked Canada out of the World Cup. So far, really and truly, I mean, they are looking the part, and definitely anybody coming up against them in this 16, after the 16 now, in that quarterfinal, is definitely going to be watching it. France got through also. They 1-0, 1 or 1-0, if you want to put it that way, against Paraguay. So they edged Paraguay out of the World Cup. Then we had the biggest upset, and I think it's probably the biggest upset, because I don't think people really expected that Norway would have beaten Brazil 2-1. So I think that is really the biggest upset of the round of 16 so far. So Norway knocked out the 5-time champions. I know a lot of people would have lost a lot of money there too. And then we had Mexico going up against England. Mexico, they have their fairy tale run, and that came to an end also. Let me see if I find the score from that Mexico game. It ended up 3-2. Right, England won 3-2 against Mexico, and it was. And this is why the round is so important, because Mexico had been playing some really good football so far. They've been, I think they hadn't lost a game until that game. So Mexico is now out of it, and England is moving forward. So today we have a couple of games coming up. We have Portugal going up against Spain. And that is supposed to be, if the timing is right, that is supposed to be at 3 p.m. And then we have the US of A, the United States, going up against Belgium. All right, so that's at 7 p.m. So who's your favorite in between there? Is it the US of A or Belgium? Is it Portugal or is it Spain? Now, I realize some people back in teams because they generally like teams. Some people just back in certain teams because they want the other team to lose. They don't care. Once that team don't make it, that's all I'm interested in. I'm happy with that. So once it runs that kind of way, they're good to go. They're good to go. So, but I say, regardless of how you like your team, support your team and enjoy the football. As I said, I'm just enjoying the game and the games. I'm not really into it. I don't consider myself to be any kind of football fanatic or any kind of fanatic about anything really. And I'm just enjoying the spirit of the World Cup. And now we're into this the final few games. You see how time does really go quickly. Yeah, look how many games have already gone. For no time you wink again. The tournament done, hopefully by next week or the beginning of the week after that, the games are done. But I know you guys are having a really good one. I see some people I know who are up watching all the games. I go, Shamina is a big football fan back in France. Yes. And Auntie Lorna, I know you're up watching the games also. Auntie Lorna loves everything. She likes cricket, she likes football, but everything. Yeah. So, but enjoy the football. That's all I can tell you. Enjoy the football. All right. So, I didn't do the greetings for this morning, so you guys will have to excuse me with that because the logistics of everything, for me to do everything on the platform is not easy sometimes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that break. When we come back, we're going to look and see what is trending in the newspapers today. So stay with us this morning here on The Breakfast Show.
Are you a business owner? Well, take advantage of NETT Radio and Kyle Caribbean TV Christmas in July advertising special. Throughout the month of July, enjoy 33% off all advertising packages. Whether you are micro, small, medium, or large business, now is the perfect time to put your product and service in front of the people who matter. Reach your audience through radio, television, and social media, all at 33% off. Don't miss this limited Christmas in July offer. Call us today at 281-1315 or 299-5156 and let NETT Radio and Kyle Caribbean TV help you grow your business. But hurry, this special offer ends July 31st. It's Christmas in July on NETT Radio and Kyle Caribbean TV.
Calling all you NETT Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us for NETT Radio. Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white, and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August. Boarding at 7 p.m. from Hardcuts, Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite NETT DJs: Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early bird tickets are just $200 after $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kure, Bats International in Arima, K Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall and Eastgate Small, and all NETT DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. NETT Radio, Halloween Cooler Crew, Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Call we on the scene.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
Get ready.
The road to football's biggest stage starts right here on NETT Radio and Kyle TV. Join us for Inside the Net, the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. Every weekday, take a journey through World Cup history, legendary players, unforgettable goals, football's greatest nations, rising stars, iconic stadiums, and the stories behind the beautiful game. From Brazil to Argentina, Germany to France, and every nation chasing football glory. Join us daily at 7:55 a.m. and 11:55 a.m. Don't just watch the World Cup, live the passion. Inside the Net, Road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End times is here. Stay tuned.
Okay, everybody, so welcome back. It's now 23 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. It's a Monday. It's the 6th day of July. So we're in the 6th day of the 7th month. Okay, we're looking good. All right, so this is where we take a look at, see what's happening, what's trending in our newspaper. So let's start with the Guardian this morning. National Trust launches drive to assess 300 architectural sites. Also, education reform must include special needs learners, autism advocates urges. You know, I don't know why it is that we have, or we are taking so long to include properly some sectors, especially persons with disabilities, into our school system and in other areas to provide for them. You know, they are not the cohort, if you want to call it, our percentages is not that great. So I find it, you know, astonishing that we're taking so long to really treat with some of these things. Top results despite poor facilities at Sando Central. I guess that has to do with the SEA. And what I noted in the presence there with Dr. Dowler is that a lot of the schools that really did well, you know, some of the schools that we really consider to be prestigious schools, there are some names I just did not see in between there. Anyhow, also in the Guardian, you have a Venezuelan man killed in shooting outside of Penal Bar. 8 convoys being assembled for Venezuelan quake relief operations. I remember that is something that is still ongoing. What is taking place in Venezuela there, and it is. I can tell you, it's going to be a sad. It's already a sad day, but it's going to get worse because a number of persons. Yes, we have probably found like close to maybe 2,500 or 3,000 persons, but the amount of people that are missing in Venezuela. We are probably now into about the 10th or the 11th day after that earthquake, to tell ourselves that all of these 50,000+ people that are still missing, that are alive still, it's you know, with each day it's getting slimmer and slimmer. And apparently the rescue operations, it's not really moving as, I mean, they have plenty of rubble and steel, concrete, all kinds of things to move to try to find people. So as the days go by, it gets slimmer and slimmer. Richard, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning to our listeners and viewers in whatever time zone you are. Good morning. And of course, it's a rainy morning in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, at least certainly in Trinidad. I'm not so sure about Tobago, but certainly in Trinidad it's a very rainy morning. So, you know, hopefully it's better weather where you are, even though across the planet it seems to be bad weather in one way or the other. Either it's very hot or either it's very rainy.
Yeah.
But good morning nevertheless. But regards to that Venezuelan story, I saw that Reuters had said that the death toll was around 3,300 plus at this point.
Wow.
While they still pursue whatever, going through the ruins of certain buildings and stuff. So it's still expected to go up. But at this point, it's 3342, I think it was, last that I heard.
Yeah. It's frightening to think that the final outcome of this, like probably within the next month, what it's going to be reading. It's frightening, Let me just finish up the Guardian here. Canipia residents flag gang activity, security gaps as TTPS crime forum. Principal cites reduce indiscipline following police presence in school. I'm not sure which one of these schools is that. And there was this steel band clash with police at band launch that leads to arrest and also detention. Let me see if I can read a little bit of that story for you all, because
was that Silver Stars? I think it was Silver Stars, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is really something else, So apparently, let me get the story here, if I can get back. Right, so several members of the Silver Stars Steel Orchestra were arrested early, they say this morning, following an alleged confrontation with police officers during a tribe band launch celebration. Guardian Media understands that the incident occurred around 2 a.m. in the North Stand area of the Queen's Park Savannah. Look which part too. Right, where the steel band had been hired to close the event. According to reports, plainclothes officers approached the band side and instructed them to stop playing. The situation allegedly escalated when one officer grabbed a drummer stick and knocked over instruments, triggering a scuffle between police and band members. And I sometimes I wonder, why do we have to reach all of this? Some things that we consider and do traditionally, especially in things like that, because we know when it reaches a certain time, the police are going to ask you to close up your bar, they're going to stop the music and that sort of thing. So most people just keep the pan sides in that area, just bring down the thing, people mail out and they go their way and that. So eventually it comes to nothing. We have not had any incidents like that. And to know now in a situation like this, that the police say stop and they mean stop, or they go home. Yeah. So.
Just from you reading that story, it seems as if the police escalated the situation, if that story is correct.
Yeah.
And which always comes back to the point of, where is the de-escalation training in terms of police officers? Because if you grab a bandman's stick and throw down his pan, you're escalating.
Of course.
Rather than de-escalating in terms of the approach of whoever is the head of the band or the manager of the band and saying, look, sorry, you really have to stop because they only had whatever your reasoning is.
Yeah.
In terms of that. But if you start off in a belligerent way, belligerence meets belligerence. So from what you read, it sounds as if there was no attempt to de-escalate the situation. In fact, it sounded as if the police escalated the situation.
It sounded
from what you read.
Yeah, from what I'm reading, from what I've been hearing over the weekend, it looked like they aggravated that whole situation. People would have just listen to the pan and just eventually mill out and go their way, But I don't know. And yeah, so that is
usually pan events don't usually have any issue. So it's a little weird in that usually, because usually always say, oh, pan things, like even if it's like Pan on the Avenue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Among the safer events. And people generally tend to be less, how should I say it, less hype and violent, and less violent and things like that. And in that kind of atmosphere, that's always a boost of pan events. So it was a little weird when I read that story, and I said, a scuffle. I said, what happened? Why would it degenerate into that?
Yeah.
You know, but
Definitely.
I'm sure the Pan fraternity is going to have some level of press release coming out concerning it. Pan Trinidad certainly will probably have some sort of press release coming out concerning it, and we'll see what they say.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Guardian. Can you read the Express?
Of course I can.
Go ahead now.
Let us know. Let me get the Trinidad Express. All right, so the Express for this morning. Latest headlines: Ghost boat comes ashore in Trinidad. That's one of the headlines. Boost for region. I'm not so sure what boost for the region, so I have to go into the story. No country, regardless of its wealth or resources, can confront today's increasingly complex public health threats alone. Minister of Health, Dr. Lakram Bodo, said on Friday as he stressed the importance of regional cooperation during the commissioning of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA Regional Emergency Operations Center at its Federation Park headquarters in Port of Spain. Digging in, these are all seems to be kind of feature articles. Digging in, patience and discipline, even when patience and discipline were the hallmarks of West Indies' batting effort yesterday as Shai Hope and Justin Graves shared a record 174-run fifth wicket partnership against Sri Lanka. So that's one of the stories in sports. And Rather finds success as a massage therapist. And that's a footballer they're talking about. So that was really sports news, really. A lot of it was that. But the Ghost boat comes to Trinidad, in case you're wondering what that is about. Walk the remote South Trinidad coastline towards the Carcass Point, and you will find things brought to its shore by man and by nature, just west of Galfa Point. Standing in the sea like a sci-fi monument is the debris of the boosters jettisoned from the rockets launched from the Space Center in French Guiana on the continent within sight. NIBTT owes $54 million to vendor for Empower Tech upgrade. That's another one of the stories. And logistical issues as PM misses CARICOM leaders lineup. Really, logistical issues. I need to read that story. Sorry, I was just going to.
I think I'm not actually seeing that story myself.
Yeah, let me just see what it says. Logistical issues delayed Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessa's arrival at the opening of the 51st regular meeting of the Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government in St. Lucia yesterday, causing her to miss the traditional lineup of regional leaders on stage. This, according to Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Nicholas Morris. He told the Express, however, via WhatsApp message from St. Lucia that she arrived before St. Kitts Nevis Prime Minister and immediate former CARICOM Chairman, Dr. Terence Drew, delivered his address at the opening ceremony. Persad-Bissessa later posted photographs on her social media pages showing her attending the meeting alongside members of the Trinidad and Tobago delegation. During her absence from Trinidad and Tobago, the Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jaylene John, will again act as Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, I'll just go into the details of. So apparently she missed that thing of leaders on stage, whatever logistical means, and of course they try to now justify it by saying, well, she reached before St. Kitts Nevis. So that's very curious.
It is.
In my opinion.
It is
very curious. Nestle assures government on jobs. Seniors learn to spot banking scams at BAT workshop.
in Q&A, TNT talks about big, higher value, but will it deliver? Chicken shortage exposes structural weaknesses in poultry industry. Is there a chicken shortage? I wasn't aware.
No.
And TNT has planned to build its own AI future, and bank launches CDB Propel to support Caribbean SMEs. So that's some of the main stories in the Trinidad and Tobago Express this morning. Express is a little less structurally built in terms of its online interface to give you clearly what the headlines are, etc. Guardian is a little bit better.
Yeah, it is.
In my opinion, having read the Guardian more.
Especially if you're a Guardian reader. But by and large, it is like that. All right. So let me do our Did You Know segment, and then we'll come back and treat with the morning poll, see if we can take a couple of your calls. All right. So stay with us.
All righty.
Argentina was once nearly 1/3 black. So how did that disappear? Because if you look at Argentina today, you don't see it. You don't see large black communities. You don't see it reflected in the national identity. And yet they were there. Not in small numbers, not on the margins. They were a visible central part of the country. My name is Noreen, and this is Real Africa Stories. Today I'm taking you into a part of history that doesn't get spoken about enough. The African roots of Argentina. Let's go back. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, Argentina was deeply connected to the transatlantic slave trade. Enslaved Africans were brought into Buenos Aires in large numbers. They worked in homes, on farms, in the streets of the city itself. And over time, they didn't just survive. They built communities, they shaped culture, they became Argentina. So what happened? How does a people go from being visible to almost erased from the national story? There isn't one answer. There are several, and I'll talk you through them. And when you put them together, the picture becomes almost uncomfortable. So the first one is war. Black men were sent to the front lines again and again, fighting in wars of independence, fighting in internal conflicts, and many of them never came back. Another one is disease. Yellow fever swept through Buenos Aires in the 1800s. It hit the poorest communities the hardest, and those communities were often black. Entire neighborhoods were wiped out. And then also intermarriage. Over generations, Afro-Argentinians mixed with European-descended populations. Their identity didn't disappear overnight, but it became diluted, absorbed, and in many cases no longer recognized. But this is where it shifts, because this wasn't just about what happened, it was also about what was chosen. In the late 1800s, Argentina actively encouraged millions of Europeans to migrate, mainly from Italy and Spain. And at the same time, the country began reshaping how it saw itself, not as a mixed nation, but as a European one. So the question becomes, was this just history unfolding, or was it a quiet rewriting of identity? Because even as Black Argentines were fading from visibility, their influence didn't disappear, not even close. Take tango, one of Argentina's most iconic cultural exports. Most people picture elegant European-style ballrooms, but tango was born in working-class neighborhoods, where African rhythms, movement, and musical traditions were already alive. Even the word tango is believed to have African origins. So while the people were becoming less visible, their culture was becoming national identity. And that's where it gets uncomfortable. How can a country carry the rhythm but forget the people who created it. And more importantly, how many other countries have done the same thing? Because Argentina isn't the only example. It's one of the clearest. So when you look at Argentina today, what are you really seeing? And what are you not being shown? Do you think this was a natural shift over time? Or was it something closer to erasure?
Yeah. What was it? I found that to be very interesting because I think Gabby sent that to me over the weekend. I know that we were having all of these conversations as Argentina has no black players, and I know it probably goes a lot deeper than that, but I just found that piece was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but information I didn't really know. And in looking it up, it says that 0.6, according to, Google, in the 2022 national census, 302,936 people, about 0.66% of the population identified having African descent. However, genetic studies estimate that roughly between 5 to 9% of the population has at least one African ancestor.
Yeah.
Historically, people of African descent comprise a much larger percentage of Argentina's population. In 1778, Afro-Argentines made up about 57% of the nation. Their numbers and distinct cultural presence dwindled over time due to high mortality rates in wars, such as the War of the Triple Alliance, yellow fever outbreaks, which she just said, and widespread racial mixing and mass European immigration in the late 19th century. So a lot of what she says is kind of reflected in what, is coming up. But interesting, I didn't, know all of that.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that the racial, interracial, or whatever you call it, mixing and the dilution of the population. I found that to be very, very interesting. Wow.
Well, if you have so much,
how long it take for something like that to happen?
Well, a couple 100 years plus.
Oh, okay. So it have hope for Trinidad and Tobago with dollarization eventually then?
Well, I think at this point, mixed people represent the third largest group in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
It is the third largest group. So, and in the last census, I don't know what the new census seems to take forever to release any of the data because the new census was done in when? 2023?
I think right now we are at a point where we're getting ready to do the next census is going to be done next year, I saw the ministry.
There was one done about just a little after COVID, wasn't there? One done just after COVID, but supposed to be in 2020 and they didn't do it. And they did it a little bit after, but I can't remember any of the results coming out of that census.
Yeah, the data, it probably they do it and it's like, if you want it, you have to come and get it. So it cannot be published so that people can just, digest it.
Published. What's the point of being a census if you're not publishing it as official figures?
Yeah. And you have to go and ask for it. Mm-hmm.
All right, but do you have a poll, Sir Charles?
Yes, I do. And it came out of the, put it up. It came out of the story that I saw coming yesterday in the Express. And businessman Dominic Hadid had categorically denied he was involved in any plot to assassinate anyone and has filed a detailed affidavit in the High Court alleging that his arrest and continued detention under a preventative detention order, which is the PDO, it was politically motivated.
So, Paul, this morning, do you believe the Hadid detention under the PDOs was politically motivated? Yes or no? That's our poll this morning. Do you believe the Hadid detention under the PDOs, the preventative detention orders, was politically motivated? That's our poll this morning. 1 is yes, 2 is no. Cast your vote now. Of course, a lot of people are thinking that. There's a mixed view on social media. If you look at social media, it has all manner of perspectives. And then, of course, one of the recent stories, Sir Charles, is Caribbean Airlines withdrawing Blue Waters from its flights and changing it to Dasani. Of course, a lot of people question that. Some people are upset with Carl about it, so some say they're not going to fly Carl again, etc., etc. It was a little weird, I thought, for Caribbean Airlines to do it, and let me tell you why it's weird. The Khadids have not been charged with anything.
Yeah, that is my thought exactly. And what is the need for something like this at this point in time?
There has been no evidence presented, and certainly there has not been enough robust evidence yet at this point, apparently, to charge. And yet, the national airline is making a decision which reeks of political interference, and certainly it doesn't paint the board of Carl in a very good light. It almost seems as if you are just towing some imaginary line and following whatever direction. That's how it comes across. Unfortunately, that's how it comes across. And certainly in this circumstance, nobody has been charged with anything as yet. There have just been allegations that have been made public that came out of the PDO. So it's very weird in terms of that. And so now you have, and of course, you remember when this whole thing first started, I said that the AG and the Prime Minister misstepped as far as I was concerned in terms of saying the things that they said under parliamentary privilege and about the 1% and what they said and how they said it. And that contributes to why people may think this, rather than keeping quiet and letting the TPS do whatever work that they have to do. But at this point that you can't charge anybody, it's starting to irk many people, I guess, across the country, because it just comes across with a lot of questions to now ask. But anyway, that's the morning poll this morning. Do you believe the Hadid detention under the PDOs was politically motivated? One is yes, two is no.
All right,
you may vote.
Yeah, and we open the lines and we come back after the news.
All right.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on NETT Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Caribbean Airlines has stopped serving Blue Waters bottled water on its flights after the detention of the company's owners under preventive detention orders. The state-owned airline has replaced Blue Waters with Dasani following a decision by its board last week. Reports say the switch caused some disruption for cabin crews as the new supplies were introduced. Blue Waters owners Dominic and Genevieve Hadid, along with relative Star Sabga, remain in custody as police investigate an alleged plot to assassinate Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Besessar and other senior government officials. No criminal charges have been laid. The Hadids have denied the allegations and are challenging their detention before the courts. Businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve have filed affidavits in the High Court strongly denying allegations they were involved in a plot to assassinate Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Besessar or any government official. Dominic Hadid says the claims are politically motivated and linked to a long-running dispute over state land leases involving his company, Blue Waters. He also argues the allegations are vague and says he was never interviewed by police before being detained under a preventive detention order. Genevieve Hadid describes the allegations as shocking and says she has never conspired to kill anyone. In her affidavit, she recounts her arrest, the conditions of her detention, and says she fears for her husband's health while in custody. The couple is asking the High Court to rule that their constitutional rights have been breached and to declare their continued detention unlawful. The central bank says authorized financial institutions are legally allowed to export U.S. currency as investigations continue into the seizure of $2 million linked to NCB Merchant Bank at Piarco International Airport. The bank says commercial banks routinely import and export foreign currency as part of normal operations, and stressed that, where U.S. cash is replaced by an equivalent electronic transfer back into Trinidad and Tobago, there is no net loss of foreign exchange. The clarification follows last month's seizure of the cash shipment, which NCB says was part of a legitimate transaction. The central bank says it will not comment on the investigation, but confirmed it is reviewing the foreign exchange system, with proposed changes to the Exchange Control Act expected in the coming months. A Beetham Gardens mother is renewing her call for justice 4 years after her son was killed in a police-involved shooting. Nicole Richards held a candlelight vigil in Port of Spain this week for her son, Fabian Richards, who was shot and killed alongside 2 friends in July 2022. Richards said she is still waiting for answers and believes the investigation has stalled. She criticized the government's handling of crime and called for justice for all 3 victims. Police said the men were killed after officers pursued a vehicle and came under gunfire. 3 other occupants survived and were later released pending investigations. Richards rejects that account and says her family will continue fighting for justice. Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara says there are no sacred cows in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service following the dismissal of 17 suspended officers. In a statement, Guevara warned that any officer involved in criminal activity would face the full force of the law and be removed from the service. He said the TTPS remains committed to integrity, accountability, and restoring public trust. The 17 officers are among about 280 currently on suspension. Meanwhile, Police Service Social and Welfare Association President, ASP Ishmael Pitt, said the association supports efforts to improve accountability, provided the dismissals comply with the law and principles of natural justice. Finally, Iran's funeral ceremonies for former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei continued on Sunday, but attention focused on the absence of his son and successor, Mojtaba Khamenei. His 3 brothers attended the service, alongside President Masoud Pezeshkian and other senior officials, while Mojtaba's absence has fueled speculation about his condition, following reports he may have been injured during recent U.S.-Israeli strikes. Thousands gathered in Tehran to pay their respects, with funeral events set to continue across Iran and Iraq this week. The ceremonies come as a fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel holds, with peace talks expected to resume after the funeral period. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
You're talking too much. If you see your neighbor while shopping in Trevor, hush your mouth, hush your mouth. You smell through the cake burning, same time Santa was passing. Hush your mouth, hush your mouth. Every little thing you hear, everything you see to do. I don't know what is wrong with you, it's only shoo shoo shoo. Hey, I'm feeling to put something in your mouth. I'm feeling to put something in your mouth. You're only talking, it's only running. People business is only comments. Hey, I'm feeling to put something in your mouth. And you know what I'm talking about. Like a piece of ham, a piece of pastel, like a drink of rum, a drink of sorrel. Hey, I'm feeling to put something in your mouth. You know damn well what I'm talking about. Oi, 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 Janet buy new fridge and thing, and she husband they walking. Hush your mouth, hush your mouth. Your sister put up curtain, for 5 years the same old thing. Hush your mouth, hush your mouth. Every little thing you hear, everything you see do. I don't know what is wrong with you. It's only shoo. Hey, I feel it to put something in your mouth. I feel it to put something in your mouth. It's only running, only talking, people business, too much comments. Hey, I feel it to put something in your mouth. And you know what I'm talking about, like a piece of cake, a piece of sponge cake, like a drink of scotch. You just talk too much. Hey, I feel it to put something in your mouth. I sure you know what I'm talking about. I say, oi, 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 oi. You know what I mean, oi, 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 oi. You see wrong boy dancing, get free scotch and drinking. Hush your mouth, oh Lord, hush your mouth. I say get your mouth a break and let go of eat sponge cake. Hush your mouth, hush your mouth. Every little thing you hear, everything you see do. I don't know what is wrong with you. It's only shoo. Hey, I feel it to put something in your mouth. I feel it to put something in your mouth. You're only talking, it's only running. People business, too much comments. Hey, I feel it to put something in your mouth. And you know what I'm talking about, like piece of tattoo, black or manicure, some wine and turkey, a milky lolly. Hey, I feel it to put something in your mouth. You know damn well what I'm talking about. I say, oi, 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 oi. I hear you say, oi, 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 oi. Feel like that, one day you know what I mean.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
You're talking too much.
Well, everybody, good morning to you once again.
If you see your neighbor while shopping in Trevor, hush your mouth.
Oh, I didn't believe that. I forgot to do that. I had to put up the morning pool for you guys while that song was playing. Sorry about that.
Hush your mouth.
Distracted a little bit, right? But good morning to you once again, and of course, welcome to the second hour of the breakfast show.
I don't know what is
15 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Oh my gosh, the weather conditions are so fantastic.
I feel it to put something in your mouth.
And yeah, let me say a very special good morning to the Anthem crew, and of course, all the people that are coming in throughout the morning. Good morning to the Gal Caribbean family. Thank you.
I feel it to put.
Welcome to the breakfast show. Remember, Monday to Friday we are here. Wendell Stevens was out today. Richard Ragobar singer, of course, yours truly, Sir Charles. We keep you company Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday we are here from 6 to 9 a.m. So we're gonna make sure we have a fantastic day as always, right? Of course, when we come off of the Kyle feed on our social media platforms at around 9 o'clock, remember you can join us on netradiott.com.
Janet by you.
You can also listen to us on any of your streaming devices. So whether you on TuneIn, Radio Garden, Online Radio Box, Simple Radio, MyTuner, all you have to put in the command is NETT Radio Trinidad. NETT Radio Trinidad. And you can listen to us on any one of your favorite platforms, okay?
Everything you see do.
But of course, if you're on TuneIn, you get to give Alexa and of course your Google devices that command play NETT Radio Trinidad, and you're good to go. Of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow all of our social media platforms, please. So go to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And also at you can join our WhatsApp channel also. All of them are NETT Radio Trinidad. So all you have to remember is NETT Radio Trinidad and any one of those platforms. Like, subscribe, follow, alright? Of course, you can also go to our website at netradiott.com, where you can donate to the channel so you can keep us up and running, yeah? So our morning poll this morning, we are asking you, I mean, you've been hearing a whole lot of things happening, right? So do you believe that the Hadi detention under the PDOs was politically motivated? That is what we're asking you this morning. Do you, in your opinion, not what nobody else is saying, what you feel is your opinion, that it was politically motivated? If you're voting yes, you're voting one.
You see wrong boy Ramsey, get free scotch and drink it.
And if you are saying no, you're voting two, all right? Lots of people already on the chat voting one or two. And when we come back, we will tell you how you voted. So stay with us this morning here on NETT Radio.
All aboard! Calling all you NETT Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us on NETT Radio. NETT Radio Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white, and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August, boarding at 7 p.m. from Hardcuts, Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite NETT DJs, Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early bird tickets are just $200 after $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kure, Bats International in Arima, K Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall and Eastgate Small, and all NETT DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. NETT Radio, Halloween Cooler Crew, Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Call we on the scene.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Are you a business owner? Well, take advantage of NETT Radio and Guile Caribbean TV Christmas in July advertising special. Throughout the month of July, enjoy 33% off all advertising packages. Whether you are micro, small, medium, or large business, now is the perfect time to put your product and service in front of the people who matter. Reach your audience through radio, television, and social media, all at 33% off. Don't miss this limited Christmas in July
July offer. Call us today at 281-1315 or 299-5156 and let NETT Radio and Guile Caribbean TV help you grow your business. But hurry, this special offer ends July 31st. It's Christmas in July on NETT Radio and Guile Caribbean TV.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
Get ready.
The road to football's biggest stage starts right here on NETT Radio and Guile TV. Join us for Inside the Net, the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. Every weekday, take a journey through World Cup history, legendary players, unforgettable goals, football's greatest nations, rising stars, iconic stadiums, and the stories behind the beautiful game. From Brazil to Argentina, Germany to France, and every nation chasing football glory. Join us daily at 7:55 a.m. and 11:55 a.m. Don't just watch the World Cup, live the passion. Inside the Net, road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End times is here. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, and of course, welcome back to the Breakfast Show here on NETT Radio. And yeah, we just closed inside of the second hour. I'd be happy to be here with you. 23 minutes it is after the hour of 7 o'clock. So if you need to make a move, you need to make that move now so that you don't be too late, you know, too late.
That is a rainy day, so you're probably going to be late. The only advantage you have in your commute today is I think school is closed.
Yeah.
So so your commute should be a little easier, but the rain is going to delay you. You know, the rain always is a delay. It slows traffic down. So, and also you have to be extra careful on the road, you know. So be aware, because I think it's raining across Trinidad. Certainly it's raining in Arima.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's across Trinidad. I suppose so many people in the stream can say.
Yeah. I don't know if school is actually officially closed. It's not official.
Isn't it?
No, it's a closing, I think, on Friday officially.
Oh, okay. So I'm a week ahead on time traveling.
Because this week is when you get like all your test results and that sort of thing.
Oh, I thought it closed on Friday. My bad.
No. So it's not officially closed as yet. But of course, most children, you find at this point in time tend not to go to school. Children, not teachers, parents keep them at home and all, you know, because you ain't doing much in school and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. So, and some will be already traveling already for the vacation period.
And that too, you know. So the last census was done in 2011, Richard.
Yeah, yes, that's official.
Yeah.
But there was one done in like 2023. It was supposed to be done in 2020, and they delayed it. So I can't remember if it was done in 2021 or 2022, but they never gave the results of that census. The last officially recorded one is 2011.
Okay.
But there was one done after that, because I remember they were supposed to do it in 2020, and because of COVID, they did not. And so it was delayed by a year or two. But we just never heard anything about that data, nothing.
But that is the thing, you know. And if they would have done one 2023, now kind of real early to do another one already, 26, 27, you know.
Unless they're scrapping whatever they did. And I always remember that, because I remember it was supposed to be 2020, and I remember they said they had to delay it because of COVID. And I think it was done a year later. It was either 21 or 22 or 23. One of those 3 years it was done. I can't believe nobody can remember this. You can remember this? They didn't come by you?
Well, it's strange enough, there are some things that people do ever come by me, when Richard, was the census. I have never really participated in a census. And the other thing I've never participated in is that, when they used to have all of these media surveys, when everybody was number one,
I've never been
interviewed for media survey.
But census, yes, people have come, even if I wasn't home, people have come and questioned, how many people in the household, blah, 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 ask various questions. So. But in the last census, Arima had the distinction of being the only area in Trinidad and Tobago where mixed people were the majority. I remember that. So the majority in Arima are mixed people. The same question leading back to what you asked, what you suggested, Sir Charles. So that the mixed people of mixed descent in Trinidad and Tobago is growing into be a sizable, it's still a minority vis-a-vis the two major race ethnicities, meaning African Trinidadians and Indian Trinidadians, but they are a big group right behind that.
Yeah. I have no problem with that, man. We need more of that. We're only moving too slow. Let's doglarize the place a little bit. No, they doglarize the place a little bit now, man. Yeah. That way we could get away from all of this this racial tensions that we have, Yeah. All right, so let me get back to the morning poll for you people here. All right. So remember, we are taking your. You could call us on the morning poll 2811315 or 2995156 also. But you continue to vote in the chat, and we'll tell you how you voted in a short. Well, like it's not trending in a particular direction already. I haven't seen anybody in the negative so far. But that is it. But certainly, Richard, that Blue Waters on Caribbean Airlines. I mean, when I read this story, I was wondering. I said, but what could be the reason for this? If that is posed to somebody at this point in time at CAL, can they justify that movement? When you look at politics, everything always. You have to look at things. It has been my experience as being intentional. That very few things are accidental. So you have to look at the change of the supplier of water for Caribbean Airlines as intentional, and you have to look at it against the backdrop in which it is occurring. That's what you have to do. Mm-hmm. And obviously, that has to come from the board, I'm assuming. The board has to have some input in that. And we all know boards are, most of them are politically appointed. They're political appointees. And so they feel like they have to, toe some sort of line, or maybe it's a direction given by the minister. We don't know. But the mere idea made news. And it became a talking point on social media, is that people noticed, and as I said before, what makes it strange is that the Hadiths have not been charged. No, they have not been.
Well, everything that we're hearing now is allegations, and of course they're denying it very robustly. And there was an interview printed yesterday with Genevieve Hadid that goes through, and I mean, for a lot of people across the country, I mean, we can't ascertain what kind of evidence the state has, but a lot of people find it kind of incredulous. So it's a lot of toing and froing and a lot of opinions being expressed in various directions. Some of them partisan, to the political sides, but For a lot of people in between, it's kind of like, what the hell is going on? And what gives this, unfortunately, a political slant is it's put straight at the feet of the Prime Minister and the Attorney General.
Yeah.
They created a political slant to this entire situation. The Prime Minister, first of all, before she was Prime Minister, on the platform when she said, "We come in for all year," I remember that statement. I wish we could find that clip. Anybody who in our stream who has that clip, when she was on a platform and she talked about that. And I found it very strange and concerning when she said that. Very Trumpian, let's put it that way. Look how Trump has become an adverb and a verb. But anyway, and then, later on now in Parliament, and this whole toing and froing about 1%, and we coming for you, and the AG, who I felt misspoke when he said, when he was making the comparison, whether you're a financier of the PNM or whether you're 1%er. And I said, bad language. You should have said whether you're a financier of the PNM or the UNC once you break the law. But he kind of zoomed it down just to the PNM and zoomed it down just to the 1%, which means a particular thing in Trinidad and Tobago. And so when politicians, and I know the Attorney General is kind of straddling the justice system and straddling the political system. But when you use language like that, it's unfortunate because it feeds into how people receive it. And especially if people believe that you are pursuing a policy of victimization, and the justice system should never be seen in that way.
Yeah, Richard, I want you to hold it 1 minute there. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. A little heartbroken this morning as a Brazil supporter, but I just want to tell you all that you're doing a good job. And I will have to vote yes because of what was said in the parliament. I vote yes. And I want to just speak about something I saw trending, which is an incident in the savannah with the police and a steel man named Silver. I am very hurt to see that unfold, how it's been, But in everything, we had to get both sides. We had to get the police side of the story, Because if that did take place, throwing down pan and all this kind of thing, I think it went into a kind of way that it wasn't managed good, and the captain and the manager and the police should have a discussion, and instead of resolving a nice way. I think that role has been it's not good for the police, and it's not good for even the players and them who was involved, because most of those players, I just go as a band, I just go and follow up, is young people. Most of the players there, and it's not good at all. I am very good this morning in reading what I hear coming out from that incident. I think it was one of the band launching of some of them top bands. Yeah.
Tribe.
Yeah. Tribe. Oh, Tribe.
Yeah. Not one of the top bands, the top band. Because it's 4 bands. It's 4 bands launching. It's looking like it's just one, but it's 4 bands coming under the Tribe banner. It's Tribe, it's Lost Tribe, it's Hearts, and one more. What's the 4th one, Sir Charles?
Nah, I can't be over the 4th one. You do well with Tree. That's all right. Yeah. You do very well with Tree.
I the 4th one, Bliss. Yeah. So it's Bliss, Lost Tribe, and Hearts. Okay. All of that come under the Tribe banner. So it's not just the top banner, it's the top, tippity top.
Yeah, I thought Yuma was part of that one. So,
No. Yuma had their own band launch before. They had it in Napa. They had it the weekend before in Napa, the Napa car park.
Yeah. All right, okay. Yeah. But Mr. Biddy, I hear what you say, because that is a real troubling situation, where the bands, and the police are. I remember the steel band clash days. I thought we gone past that. We don't want to go back there, Yeah, we don't want to go back there at all. All right.
Well, I suppose we can give our poll results, because I see the results are up on the screen at this point. And in terms of our morning poll this morning, our morning poll is: do you believe the Hadid detention under PDOs was politically motivated? And we have 100% of our voters, which is unusual. Usually there's always a little smaller percentile that says, sometimes it's an even kind of vote, it depends on what we ask. But 100% of voters this morning on the stream have said, yes, they believe it's politically motivated. And that has to be concerning to the prosecution, the prosecutorial arm of the state, because it means that public sentiment is not in your favor in terms of how this is transpiring. Of course, they have not been charged as yet, else we could not talk about it. It's only at the point of the charge it becomes sub judice. But certainly this has been lingering. And also, there are a lot of people who have been held under PDOs and at the end of the state of emergency have been released. So they've been detained without charge and then released at the end of the state of emergency. So people are looking at that with concern under the powers of the state of emergency. And all of this is about when the state gives a lot of power to the machinery of the National Security Services. When civilian authorities cede that power to the National Security Services, and the civilian government may think, I'm doing the people's work or whatever their sentiment is, but when you use a state of emergency in that way, that's what happens. Because the more power people get and the more accustomed they get to that power in terms of the security services, the potential for abuse remains, and you really have to have guardrails against that if that's your route in terms of dealing with the crime situation. But beyond all of that, if the state does have robust information or robust evidence that proves beyond reasonable doubt, because that's as I always state on this program, that's the simplicity, if you want to call it that, of criminal offenses in terms of the evidential requirement. Once you have, you believe as the prosecution, you have enough evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt that X has occurred or Y has occurred, then proceed to charge. But the delay is feeding in, unfortunately, it's feeding into a particular kind of view by the Trinidad and Tobago population. And if you don't have it, then release.
Yeah, well,
that's how the system of justice is supposed to work.
All right, hold right there, Richard. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Miss Sampson.
Two things. The CARICOM issue where her madam was not there. I think, that is my opinion. It's untrue. And the elderly people used to say when I was growing up, do not burn your bridges. This government is operating like if the yellow written in stone there for the rest of their lives. Treat people with respect. And all what happened to that couple was planned. It was spoke about before, and there it is. And I don't know what kind of justice system we have in this country that not seeing what's happening with the Kia girl who they have their
we can't talk about the KIA matter because that is sub judice.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, Mr. Sampson. We cannot. Is that Mr. Sampson? Who's this?
And the justice system of itself would have its day as they go.
Yeah, the KIA matter is before the justice system in terms of being charged. So that's sub judice. So we can't talk about that one. But this one, nobody's been charged as yet. So that's why you have so much opinions, going across the media concerning it. And at this point, I think either charge or release. Because if you charge, then people have the right to seek bail and to get their freedom, and the matter goes before the court and let the court adjudicate on whether your evidence meets the standard. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have it, then release. That's how it should operate. That's how the system should work.
All right. Caller, good morning.
Fabulous, good morning to you, Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell.
Good morning, Suzanne.
Correct is right. Mr. Richard, you said it so correctly. So correctly. I don't know, TPS, and we can't talk about it much. To me, I thought that I don't gather evidence, then charge, hold and then charge, but the other way around, they're still searching. But anyway, and then to stop water from these from the plane and from the school, it's a whole targeting thing. You understand? I just can't understand it. I don't know. This country from back to this, yes. But anyway, gentlemen, great program. But
Okay.
I want to go even deeper. It's like a target on the industry itself. Look what going on with Nestles. It's a target. When you're thinking that the country going forward, trying for betterment, it's like it's going downhill. And it starts from when CPEP started going down. It is going downhill. And it's like it's a target of different people. Because when they target, that case, besides that case, when they target, look like Silver standing, with they looking up at them youths and them, oh, come on. It has ways to deal with things, and these officers are not using their common sense at all. It has ways to deal with it. Same thing like Mylat. They want to close it down, they want to restructure it or whatever. But you could continue, you don't need to shut it down. You're stopping the use from them from doing what they're supposed to do. When you're supposed to say, well, here we're going on with the use of Trinidad and Tobago, we're trying to help them because we know it have youths who go into different things. You understand? We're trying to help the youths. And a program that helping you, you want to cut off because I had to pay the 10% and back pay. Come on. And my question will always be this. You want to pay out back pay and wherever. You're charging people, you're increasing different things for that. When you don't gather up all that money and you pay it out, the rest of money that was supposed to go to Mylat and wherever, the CPEP and wherever, what you doing with that money? Because remember, you close on CPEP. So every month you're supposed to get X amount of dollars from CPEP. When that money doesn't come back, we have to do with it.
Yeah. Obviously this government...
Next year goes paid January the 1st. All our money that is supposed to pay CPEP was CPEP supposed to be running. What are you doing with that money? And
well, obviously this government obviously sees the structure of Trinidad and Tobago in a different way. They obviously see it in a different way. Now, whether that way is justified or not, only history will tell and time will tell. But that they obviously see a different structure in terms of how the society should be set up. So when they said CPEP will be restructured, they said it, but we haven't really seen any tangible evidence of the restructuring to what degree. Because they said, they will make it better work and better paying jobs. I think that was the narrative along that line. With Mylat, they said they're restructuring it. I'm not too sure in what direction, but that's what they said, they're restructuring it. So we're going to have to wait and see at this point. But obviously, they see how the structure of Trinidad and Tobago should be in terms of certain institutions. They see it in a different way. How it will all play out remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Kuala, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. The program. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning to Richard.
Good morning.
I sit back listening there, and I'm kind of taken aback. I know where Richard is a lawyer, right? Is Trinidad subjudice law? Is it a common practice, or is it just specific to Trinidad and Tobago?
You know what? Several countries have it. Many countries have it, especially Commonwealth countries.
Right, and it's the same law, right? And the same circumstances apply.
It's the same principle. It's a principle that you should not discuss matters before the court system because it can prejudice the matter. The US doesn't have it so much, hence when matters are before the court in Europe and the United States, you will see a lot of talking heads talking about it on various news programs and whether it's justified, and they'll bring on legal experts and they will discuss it. So the US is a little bit more liberal about it, but several other countries in the Commonwealth tend to hold to that principle.
And use it there. Yeah. Well, let us say discussing aspects of the case that could prejudice the outcome, right? So, like if you're discussing the evidence or discussing stuff and like that. But to keep the consciousness of what's going on, right? People can call and say, but what happened to Joshua Samaria and Kaya City case? You guys say that?
But you just shouldn't discuss the substantive issue. But yes, you can say something like that. What's going on with that case? Where is it? Why they're not prioritizing it? You can say things like that, yes.
Right. So the lady just called and said, "Oh, going on with the Kaya Silly matter and so why you think and you shut up and then she does
No,
something."
no. The only reason that I intervened is because I don't know where you are going.
Okay.
And so I'm just cautioning. I'm cautioning. I don't know where I don't know what you're going to say.
It's 25 degrees.
Yeah. They're along the line because I was following this a case in America. The same police involved shooting with a lady called Sonia Marcy. I don't know if you're familiar with that case where the police
No, I'm not familiar with that case.
And they told her, like, when they entered the house to help her, she was boiling some water on a stove, and the police said she go and turn off that stove. And when she went to turn off the stove now, when she picked up the pot, right, the police actually some kind of thing, and she tell them in Jesus' name or something, and the police pull out a gun and tell she what you say? And he shot her and saying that she was trying to throw the water on her. And that case gained widespread attention in the States, and that just happened in 2024, right? And I see the protest right through. They talk about the matter right through. They even had a demonstration when they were selecting the jurors. Protesters came out. They protest all during the hearing outside and stuff like that. Right? Now, this matter here, it touches sensibilities and people, and that leave a kind of thing on the consciousness, boy. And that is going to be just so to shut up people. You can explain to them. You cannot explain things like evidence or things that. But somebody talking about how they prejudice the outcome of the case. If you mention, so what going on with the matter with Kaya Sili? How did justice system taking so long? Because people outside there don't have enough information and evidence to prejudice no case. Right? But people still,
But yes or no, if you're going at the whole principle of sub judice and whether it should be done away with, my personal opinion is that sub judice, this is my personal opinion, is sub judice is archaic. I know plenty legal practitioners hold to it. I don't. My personal opinion is that freedom of speech and freedom of media and freedom of the press should override that in the sense of people should be able to discuss. And but where do you stop? Because in this circumstance, and let me tell you the dangers of it, because that's my kind of thing after that you should be able to discuss, because the Americans also do it. And they do it and still justice is pursued, right? But here is the thing. You may be defending the accused, but sometimes somebody may be accused of a heinous crime. Let's say, for example, Sir Charles, sorry for using your name, but it's nice and colorful to use a name. Sir Charles is arrested before the court because he did something heinous, right? And he's before the court system, and Sir Charles might be completely innocent in terms of the evidence that goes before the court. But because of the heinous nature of the crime, people are discussing it and saying, yes, he's guilty. They should hang him. They should put him before a thing squad and they should shoot him and blah, blah, blah. And, he should die, he should dead because he do X, Y, and Z. That's the reverse side of it, right? So there's a lot of commentary on that now. And he may be absolutely innocent. And the evidence does not support the case, because sometimes the police have evidence that does not support the beyond reasonable doubt, which is what I go back to in terms of a criminal charge. It goes before the justice system, and he should be exonerated. Now, in the system, he may be exonerated even before it gets to jury trial. But if at the point it gets to jury trial, and there's all of this commentary going on, where does the jury come from? Us. So it may already have people that are biased towards him and saying, yes, he's a murderer, and they're hearing the evidence, but the biasness already is tainted. So that's really why sub judice exists. It exists so that once there's a jury trial, that the jury members, which they know comes from the society, should not be biased and should come with an open mind towards the evidence presented before the court. That's really the basis of why sub judice exists. So that those jurors, when they sit before and they're hearing the facts of the case, because remember, the jury is an arbiter of facts, right? The arbiter of the law is the judge, but the facts are decided by the jury. They are deciding, do the facts as presented by the prosecution and the defense, whom do I believe? And do I believe that the defendant has committed this crime? I'm kind of simplifying the process, but that's really what it is. Yeah. So the jury, if they are tainted or they come with baggage, so that's why sometimes they sequester juries and say you can't go home, you can't discuss, and they put you up in hotel and stuff like that, and they black you out. You can't hear the news because they want you to be untouched by the news and opinions, because they want you to have a really vacant mind and just looking at the facts of the case. The U.S. somehow maneuvers through the system, even though there's a lot of discussion about different things and whether police officers are to be held guilty of the killing of X or killing of Y, and they traverse their system. Of course, they are a larger country and a larger space with many different states that could be countries, right? In a Trinidad and Tobago space, you have 1.4 million people. So there is a very strong argument why sub judice should hold. I just have my kind of personal opinion because I'm also involved in media, so I feel you should have the liberty to discuss it. But you can understand the justification of why sub judice should hold, because jurors, if it gets to that point, they're the ones that have to adjudicate on the case. And you want them to be as open as possible. So then the issue then is, if you do away with the sub judice rule, can we be confident that people, when they're sitting in as juries before in the court system, whether a judge can say, clear your mind of all prejudices that you may have on this case and what has been discussed in the media? Clear your mind and let's approach it purely on the basis of the facts that you are going to hear put before you by the defense and the prosecution. And you are to confine yourself to the basis of those facts in deciding the case.
Yeah, thank you very much.
People to be independent enough. And that's really why there is that issue and jockeying when people think about, oh, why can't I discuss it? I hope I explained it enough. But
yeah, well, I think you did. But I think also, and especially from where we sit also in the media, we can't always rely on people going so far and will not go the extra mile, because people are emotionally tied to a lot of these things also, and people it's very difficult for them to self-regulate. People take the opportunity to say all different kinds of things. So in protecting ourselves, sometimes it is easier to just say, look here, when it is there and we are not dealing with it. Caller, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Richard. Good morning to you, Richard. Richard, I have a concern that I asked earlier on months ago, last year. Is Justice Frank Superstar the go-to judge for all these high-profile cases? Our cases are allotted to judges because he oversees all these cases, all these high-profile cases come before him. When an application is filed for something, he deals with it. The recent one with a Tuco situation where one of the Californians asked for something, he was the one adjudicating it. Why is he, the judge that is responsible for all these high-profile cases as they happen, as they come? And there are other judges?
Yeah, but there are the judges. I want to say it's luck of the draw. I mean, between the Chief Justice, and I know usually there's a court administrator, they would assign the briefs to various judges. And I'm not too sure how they rotate those briefs because I'm not part of the bench, but there's a way that they would do it and who gets what brief. Of course, Justice Frank C. Prasad has been at the helm of several, important cases. But in this particular case, with regard to if you're talking about the Hadid's and not the constitutional motion, but the issue of the PDOs and stuff that came up, and it's now been referred to. They've been given leave for judicial review, and I think that comes up on the 27th of July, if my memory reminds me correctly. But I think he also indicated that it will be before a different judge. As he heard this part of it, he didn't feel it was, responsible for him to continue to hear it. So it goes before a different judge now in terms of that issue coming up. But as to how they get briefs, that's determined by the Chief Justice and usually court administration. I think they decide who gets what brief.
And then I think it all depends on what the media picks up also, because we have seen other things with other high court judges. So there are other high court judges, but sometimes the story that interests the media, it may just be coming out of Justice Prasad, but it doesn't mean that we don't have other judges. We have other judges.
Yeah, and I think Justice Prasad tries to be reasoned in his judgments.
Yeah.
But you may disagree with sometimes with what he says, because the nature of the legal profession is combative, and it's based on people not agreeing with each other. Okay, so when you see lawyers appear before the judicial system and they're on opposing sides, it's because I disagree with what you're about to say and you disagree with what I'm about to say, because you're opposing sides. It's combative, right? That's the nature of the justice system in criminal matters and in civil matters. It's combative. You have lawyers on both sides, and the judge is like the intermediary that obviously makes the decision. And in criminal trials, depending on what it is, it goes before a jury. But yeah, that's what it is. So it's very combative. So not all judges necessarily would agree with the reasoning of Justice, Frank T. Prasad in certain decisions, and certainly some lawyers may not always agree with him, and sometimes you may agree with him. So that's the nature of justice when it's dispensed by human beings,
Yeah, and that is it. But going back to the subjudiciary situation also, I don't think it also means that you would not get certain things, because certain things that are presented in some cases while it's going on, once it is being presented, the facts are being presented in certain ways. It does not interfere with the prejudication of the cases also, So it doesn't mean that you would not
people discuss it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because sometimes you will see certain things in certain cases, according to how it's playing out, and you would read certain things in the newspapers, but it is based on like factual things coming out of the case of itself.
Right. So people may say, "Oh, did you see the facts of?" Or they may read the factual account of what's happening in court, but they're not really expressing an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what the sub judice is ready to guard. Ultimately, if you want to look at the sub judice rule, it's ready to guard that the system is as fair as possible. You understand? That's really what it is. That the system should be as fair as possible for the people who appear before the court system. That it should be as fair as possible. And so that's really what it is, but I know some people think, but I want to discuss it. And the whole issue of protesting, against certain things. Well, the issue really with regard to that is that we are in a state of emergency. Mm-hmm. And so that, there is going to be more curation of protest action. Hence, them saying that there are certain things you can't go, certain places you can't protest within, 500 meters or whatever it is, which is unusual for us. But the more prolonged a state of emergency is, the more those encroachments are going to happen.
Yeah,
that's the reality, right? But can they do it? Of course they can, and they have,
and will.
So they have restricted where you can protest. And because this, that is what it is, because you're under a state of emergency too. So that's curtailing some of your effects. So what he's talking about is how people have protested in the United States concerning different issues that come up that affects the social consciousness. Yeah, those things happen. But we are in a state of emergency, so there is going to be much more control over your ability to do stuff like that.
I said, and and even with the subject issue, I know, as I said, the public opinion, it can stifle that, and sometimes and the public can feel cheated because of the fact that they want to express their opinions on things, and it really can limit that. But I think if you look at the bigger picture of preserving, that the integrity of the justice system, where you want to make sure that, as you said, Richard, juries, when they are selected, that they are dealing with evidence that is presented before them and not being swayed by that public opinion, which can be very strong at times.
Yep. But that's what I'm saying. So that's so I understand the nature of why the subjudiciary rule exists, which is why I try to explain why it's really to kind of make or ensure that the system of justice is as fair as possible in terms of the people who are going to be, adjudicating on it.
Interesting. All right, people. So we are going for the news at 8 o'clock. So stay with us. We continue chatting with you. We continue to take your calls on the other side of.
And when we come back to Charles, I want some of the football people to weigh in on that issue with the American striker and President Trump's call to Infantino about that red card that you got, because once you get a red card, you have a one-match automatic suspension.
Right.
And apparently FIFA used an old rule that put him on probation so he could play the next match, because he's the one that is scoring a lot of the goals for the United States. So we can take some of your opinions on that bacchanal that is brewing in the World Cup concerning that decision that FIFA has made.
Okay.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on Net Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Caribbean Airlines has stopped serving Blue Water's bottled water on its flights after the detention of the company's owners under preventive detention orders. The state-owned airline has replaced Blue Waters with Dasani following a decision by its board last week. Reports say the switch caused some disruption for cabin crews as the new supplies were introduced. Blue Waters owners Dominic and Genevieve Hadid, along with relative Star Sabga, remain in custody as police investigate an alleged plot to assassinate Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Besessar and other senior government officials. No criminal charges have been laid. The Hadids have denied the allegations and are challenging their detention before the courts. Businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve have filed affidavits in the High Court strongly denying allegations they were involved in a plot to assassinate Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Besessar or any government official. Dominic Hadid says the claims are politically motivated and linked to a long-running dispute over state land leases involving his company, Blue Waters. He also argues the allegations are vague and says he was never interviewed by police before being detained under a preventive detention order. Genevieve Hadid describes the allegations as shocking and says she has never conspired to kill anyone. In her affidavit, she recounts her arrest, the conditions of her detention, and says she fears for her husband's health while in custody. The couple is asking the High Court to rule that their constitutional rights have been breached and to declare their continued detention unlawful. The central bank says authorized financial institutions are legally allowed to export U.S. currency as investigations continue into the seizure of $2 million linked to NCB Merchant Bank at Piarco International Airport. The bank says commercial banks routinely import and export foreign currency as part of normal operations and stress that where U.S. cash is replaced by an equivalent electronic transfer back into Trinidad and Tobago, there is no net loss of foreign exchange. The clarification follows last month's seizure of the cash shipment, which NCB says was part of a legitimate transaction. The central bank says it will not comment on the investigation, but confirmed it is reviewing the foreign exchange system, with proposed changes to the Exchange Control Act expected in the coming months. A Beetham Gardens mother is renewing her call for justice 4 years after her son was killed in a police-involved shooting. Nicole Richards held a candlelight vigil in Port of Spain this week for her son, Fabian Richards, who was shot and killed alongside 2 friends in July 2022. Richards said she is still waiting for answers and believes the investigation has stalled. She criticized the government's handling of crime and called for justice for all 3 victims. Police said the men were killed after officers pursued a vehicle and came under gunfire. 3 other occupants survived and were later released pending investigations. Richards rejects that account and says her family will continue fighting for justice. Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara says there are no sacred cows in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service following the dismissal of 17 suspended officers. In a statement, Guevara warned that any officer involved in criminal activity would face the full force of the law and be removed from the service. He said the TTPS remains committed to integrity, accountability, and restoring public trust. The 17 officers are among about 280 currently on suspension. Meanwhile, Police Service Social and Welfare Association President, ASP Ishmael Pitt, said the association supports efforts to improve accountability, provided the dismissals comply with the law and principles of natural justice. Finally, Iran's funeral ceremonies for former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei continued on Sunday, but attention focused on the absence of his son and successor, Mojtaba Khamenei. His 3 brothers attended the service alongside President Masoud Pezeshkian and other senior officials, while Mojtaba's absence has fueled speculation about his condition, following reports he may have been injured during recent U.S.-Israeli strikes. Thousands gathered in Tehran to pay their respects, with funeral events set to continue across Iran and Iraq this week. The ceremonies come as a fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel holds, with peace talks expected to resume after the funeral period. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Welcome to Inside the Net on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio. Our daily insights as we count down the journey to FIFA World Cup 2026. Here is today's insight.
Every FIFA World Cup begins with hope. 32, or now, beginning in 2026, 48, nations dream of lifting football's most prestigious trophy. Every team believes it has a chance to make history. But for some of the tournament's biggest favorites, the dream ends much sooner than anyone expects. That is one of the reasons the FIFA World Cup remains so compelling. Reputation alone guarantees nothing. Every 4 years, football reminds us that no team is unbeatable. In 1950, England arrived in Brazil confident of success. They were widely regarded as one of the strongest teams in the world, yet they suffered one of the greatest shocks in football history when they were defeated 1-0 by the United States. A result that stunned supporters across the globe. More than 60 years later, another giant fell. At the 2014 World Cup, defending champion Spain arrived. After dominating international football for nearly 6 years. They had won 2 UEFA European Championships and the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Many expected another deep run. Instead, the Netherlands defeated Spain 5-1 in one of the most astonishing opening matches the tournament has ever seen. Spain failed to recover and were eliminated in the group stage, ending one of football's greatest eras. Germany experienced similar heartbreak in 2018. After winning the World Cup 4 years earlier, they entered the tournament among the favorites once again. But unexpected defeats and missed opportunities saw the defending champions eliminated before the knockout stage for the first time in decades. Then, in 2022, another surprise captured the world's attention. Saudi Arabia defeated eventual champions Argentina in one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history. Although Argentina recovered to lift the trophy, the result reminded everyone that on any given day, belief and determination can overcome even the strongest opponents. These moments are why millions of fans watch every World Cup with anticipation. Football has a unique ability to surprise. One match can redefine a nation's history, one result can inspire generations, and one unexpected elimination can become part of World Cup folklore forever. As FIFA World Cup 2026 approaches, every favorite will carry enormous expectations. But history has delivered the same lesson time and time again. At the FIFA World Cup, Nothing is guaranteed until the final whistle. This has been Inside the Net, Road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insight.
You've been listening to Inside the Net as we count down the journey to FIFA World Cup 2026 on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Calling all you NETT Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us on NETT Radio Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August, boarding at 7 p.m. from Hardcuts Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite NETT DJs, Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early bird tickets are just $200 after $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kure, Bats International in Arima, K Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall and Eastgate Small, and all NETT DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. NETT Radio, Halloween Cooler Crew, Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Call we on the scene.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Are you a business owner? Well, take advantage of NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV Christmas in July advertising special. Throughout the month of July, enjoy 33% off all advertising packages. Whether you are micro, small, medium, or large business, now is the perfect time to put your product and service in front of the people who matter. Reach your audience through radio, television, and social media, all at 33% off. Don't miss this limited Christmas in July offer. Call us today at 281-1315 or 299-5156 and let NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV help you grow your business. But hurry, this special offer ends July 31st. It's Christmas in July on NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
Get ready.
The road to football's biggest stage starts right here on NETT Radio and Gael TV. Join us for Inside the Net, the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. Every weekday, take a journey through World Cup history, legendary players, unforgettable goals, football's greatest nations, rising stars, iconic stadiums, and the stories behind a beautiful game. From Brazil to Argentina, Germany to France, and every nation chasing football glory. Join us daily at 7:55 a.m. and 11:55 a.m. Don't just watch the World Cup, live the passion. Inside the Net, road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End times is here. Stay tuned.
right, everybody. So we welcome you back. Of course, we're inside the final hour of the breakfast show here on NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. By the time in Trinidad and Tobago, it's now 16 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. So we are happy that you are here with us. Let me just make sure, right. And of course, Richard is sort of like changing positions, and he will be back with us in a little bit, right? But in the meantime, let me tell you about our Cooler Cruise that is coming up on the 15th of August, and we want all of you to come out and support us on this venture. It's the first venture that we are doing as on the platform on NETT Radio, and we are inviting all of you all come and meet the presenters, come and meet the DJs of NETT Radio, and give them the opportunity to meet you all also, because I know sometimes people walk up and say, hey, I am here from so and so, you know. We enjoy that. We really enjoy it. So stack your coolers on the 15th of August. No glass bottles allowed, right? And put everything in plastic. Come on out, and we're going to have a fantastic cruise on board a beautiful yacht that is called the Island Royalty. Now, you can pick up your tickets right now. Don't wait until the end of the month or later on in the month. Go and get your tickets now, because the tickets are on sale and they are moving. So we want to make sure that you get your tickets, especially those early bird tickets. Early bird tickets are just $200, and after that you pay $250. So it's important that you go and you purchase your early bird ticket right now. You can do so at Rumbox in St. James. Go down there, check them out. Go to the people at Crosby's in St. James. Also at Bobby's Bar in Kirab, and of course Fats International in Rima. Go and ask for Howard, and you get the tickets up there at Fats International. You can also check out K Squared Fashions. They are Eastgate Mall. They are at West Mall at C3 Center in San Fernando. So all you Central South people, Deep South people, yeah, Princess Town, you could go there, get your tickets and stuff, because it is that is where you can pick up your tickets. But we're going to have a fantastic ride. So get your tickets now. Don't wait. Don't wait another day. Get your tickets, and you can call us here at NETT. You know how to find us, 281-1315, 299-5156, or you can just call me, you know, to find me and message me. Everybody know to find me. If it's one thing, if the lawyer part to be looking for me, they know to find me. All right. So yeah, you can find me, and we will get your tickets to you. Okay, so we'll be looking out for you all on the Cooler Cruise, August the 15th. And from tomorrow, yeah, I think we could probably do tomorrow. We're going to do a little ticket giveaway in between the shows, try and do one every day for a couple of days, because some of our supporters and friends who are out of Trinidad and Tobago, what they have decided to do is that they have decided to purchase tickets, and they are going to allow you guys to win one of the tickets. But it goes with certain conditions, right? So if you win a ticket, you could win the ticket, but you have to buy a ticket, right? I didn't put it as the way I got it. So you'll be able to, you could win one and you'll buy one, right? But you have to buy that one to get the one that you're winning. Don't feel you're winning, you're taking the win one and just leave it as just so. You can win one courtesy of our friends outside of Trinidad and Tobago. And well, the more that I get from them, the more we'll be able to give away to you guys, right? So they are supporting us in that way. And yeah, that is one of the ways. So you can look forward to that. But get your tickets. It's going to be a fun ride. I know some people have already purchased their tickets, and we look forward to hanging out with you on the 15th of August. Okay? Well, Richard raised an issue just before he came off the platform. So to those of you who are watching the football, even though you're another football fan, you probably may have an opinion on what is taking place. And this is where the politics always gets involved. And so apparently there's a guy by the name of, let me get his name right here, Falorin Baljon or Balogon. I'll get the right pronunciation for it soon. But he is the United States star striker, right? And he was shown straight red card. That is during the USA's run of 32 match against Bosnia and Herzegovina for a challenge that they said that the referee judged to be serious foul play, and that was after the video review, right? And the red card automatically means that if you get a red card, is that you miss the next match.
Yeah, you have a automatic one match suspension.
Right. So that match coming up against Belgium, that means he would not have been able to play that match. And of course, he is the star striker. You understand? So he got this red card. So many of the US players and fans, they argued that the tackle was accidental, did not deserve a red card.
But that's not the real issue. That's not the real issue. Those are Charles. The real issue is that President Trump called Infantino, the head of FIFA,
right? That's the
and spoke to him about the issue. That's the big issue.
Yeah.
And FIFA reversed the decision. And well, it didn't reverse the decision, but they reversed the one match suspension under some hardly used article in FIFA and put him on a 1 year's probation. And if of course he does anything like that again, it's an automatic one match suspension. So people are saying, well, wait, what? So it's causing a furor over, and it's put the whole World Cup leadership under the microscope.
Yeah. So that decision has created a major backlash, right?
Yep.
And we're seeing that UEFA, the Belgium Football Federation coaches, they say even football officials have argued that an automatic suspension following a red card should not be waived in the middle of a World Cup, especially after that political intervention. Right? And they say that it sets a dangerous precedent, and I suppose when you look at it, it does, and raises questions about whether politics influence sporting decisions.
Of course, politics has played a part. From the time you have the head of the host country calling Infantino, the head of FIFA, and a decision is suddenly reversed by some old, hardly used rule. What else is the possibility of it not being other than political interference? Or, well, I can't even blame President Trump. I had to blame FIFA. Because a world leader could ask anything.
Yeah.
So President Trump could say, well, I'm seeking the U.S. interest. We need that striker. But FIFA didn't have to go along with it.
No, they did not. And the main idea that they actually went, dug up the whole rule and decided that we'll put that in place so he will be able to play, but that really doesn't help the game. And it really doesn't help Belgium. I don't know. By Belgium, I really kicking up against that, I really kicking up against that.
And what if let's go down the road that Balogun is allowed to play, all right? The match takes place. Balogun scored 2-3 goals.
Yes.
And it ends up being 3-2 to Belgium.
Oh, no.
You understand? It's going to always taint, the victory as being, is it deserved?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But the football experts in the stream and the football experts in the listenership, they can weigh in on it.
Well,
what do they think? What do they think? Maybe some people think, okay, FIFA is right. That they are entitled to use whatever rule, and and they use it.
I wonder when was the last time they had to use that rule?
That I can't say.
Yeah,
I got it.
281-1315 or 299-5156. All you football people on the stream. I mean, what do you think of that situation? Do you think that's a situation that should be allowed? I mean, I know the USA want to win the World Cup. I don't feel they could do that, but yeah.
Well, they have a strong team.
Yeah, well, they are a pretty decent team, you know. But at the end of it all, I mean, yes, they hosting the World Cup. They want to win the World Cup, you know. So they're going all out. The president want to make sure that we have a real fighting chance, you know. So despite the fans were arguing that that wasn't so serious, man. No, you gave me a red card for that. I saw a meme. You know, we good with these memes, right? So you see the referee running with the red card, and then you see the player pulling out one with Trump out their pocket. But they really don't sleep, you know. They don't sleep. They're active. Yeah. So that is it. So all the football fans, I don't know, where's Princess Song this morning? Princess Song is probably one of our biggest football fans. I've not heard from him for the morning. But 281-1315 or 299.
281-1315, 281-1315. We're talking football. And that bacchanal that's brewing, it's actually one of the number one trending stories in world news right now. Huh?
Yeah.
That whole Balogun and the US team and him being allowed to play the match. I think the match is tonight.
Yeah, it is. It would be nice to see if Belgium come out and beat them tonight.
Well, that would I suppose that would settle the issue. But they settle the controversy then. Yeah.
If they had to beat them, they better beat them bad. Beat them by 2-0 or something. No 1-1 going down the road and then in last 30 seconds a goal score, because you know that is controversy. That ain't going to sleep. You understand? So if you had to beat them, you had to beat them real bad. Real bad. Don't leave no room for anything at all. Yeah. But that can be a good morning poll, you know, when Richard, should political leaders ever intervene in the decisions of independent sporting bodies? Because that's what President Trump is actually doing, you know.
Yeah.
And
I was now asking my nephew. Which is the stronger team, and he thinks the US is a stronger team than Belgium.
Okay.
He don't want to talk. I tell him talk because he know football well, but he don't want to talk.
And then, then if that was the case, Belgium would have been feeling good going into this game, knowing that the US number one striker
without him being there.
Yeah, they would have been feeling really good about that. But now that FIFA go and pull out dust off this whole clause and put it in between there. You know, I can understand their frustration and kicking up against that situation, because that is not serving them well at this point in time.
Yeah. Now, of course, you know, I don't mind the US winning because, you know, my thing is I'm back in the CONCACAF region and Mexico is now out.
Yeah.
So I think the US is the last of the CONCACAF region in, isn't it?
Could be.
Yeah, I think US is the last remaining member of the CONCACAF region inside the World Cup. So
I have a caller there. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, morning, guys. Is it confirmed that that happened from the President Paul or the American Football Association lodge a appeal, and that's how that happened? Is it confirmed that that's for that President Paul?
News reports, even on CNN and some of those other international channels, are saying that President Trump called Infantino.
American Football Association could lodge a protest and guys could change that, but I don't know about but that was a bad card. That man didn't deserve no red card in that play. That was an accidental situation. I don't know. Them rushing to get card. I see Germany get a goal when they play, but they end up losing the game. The man kicked the man in the head standing up high, and they allowed Germany to get a goal. But it's a good thing they lost again. And VAR never went back to check that play. I see some real bad decisions making in that football, and we have VAR, but I don't know why they're doing that. But that man didn't deserve no red card. That play was an accidental play. And they were showing you a similar thing went on with Messi. And they didn't VAR, didn't look at it. accidental play is not a play to send off nobody. I find like some wrong decision. Look, the Englishman and all. That was not intentional play last night. The man going to play the ball and he put slide on top of the ball. So that caused the foot to raise up and he ended up singing the man. He went to play the ball, but now when he went down, he put right on top of the ball. And he played the ball first. But now he put gun on top of the ball and it raised up. It catch the man high up. But he didn't want to do that, man. That when you had to evaluate a play, when something happens unintentional, when a man deliberately go to do somebody something, you see where a man pulling down a man, pulling a man jersey, them is thing you could send off a man for that. But not something where a man going to play clean and through how the body thing, he end up accidentally. When two men go up to put a ball, and sometimes accidentally the head clash. You ain't sending off nobody for that. So say when a play happens unintentional, accidental, you had to give a man a blind. So that was no red card for the American League. I totally agree that can't supposed to suspend, but that should be suspended on the American Football Authority regional appeal. Not on the president calling FIFA president. That is wrong if that happens too. That's wrong. Yeah.
All right, okay, no problem. Thanks very much, caller. Accidental, okay. Well, I suppose it all depends on the judge. I'm saying the judge now. We're back to the court thing. Yes, the referee's opinion as to how they see certain things. But now you have the video assistant that looks at the thing more closely, and after the video assistant, the referee look at that, he said, nah, that looking kind of intentional. Off you go. But of course, you have a president there saying, no. You know. So where are all our sporting enthusiasts this morning? All you ladies that are always into the football. CJ, where are you this morning? She was a big fan of football, you know. She don't miss a match. Watching all the games. Oh gosh. Yeah. All right, so we are taking a call. So we asking you this morning, how do you feel about that whole situation with the US and the player being sent off and President Trump getting involved in it now? Do you think that is something that you will encourage? You know, that officials, presidents, prime ministers, leaders of countries, you know, getting involved in the football in that way. Is it necessary in the first place? You know, I don't know if if I would support that that kind of thing, you know, as a regular thing happening. But I don't think it's a regular thing that is happening.
So Charles, you hearing me?
Yes, I am. I'm now hearing you. I'm now hearing. I wasn't hearing you before.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know what you're talking about, when it should be encouraged. Of course, you can't have leaders of countries calling FIFA and saying reverse a decision. What are you talking about, when it should be encouraged or not? For what? I don't understand you. Sport is sports. And the decision of the referee and all of that, that's subject to being a sort of final decision. And they have their own methodology to deal with it if it's a bad referee. But ultimately, sports is sports, and you're going to have decisions that sometimes you don't like, and sometimes you will like, and you brush yourself off and you go back. That's what it is.
Yeah, but when they have a country that has so much at stake, they want to make sure they win. Hold on there, Richard. Good morning.
Yes, sorry, I do really regularly call back, but I realize I'm more the time the show, and I realize much been calling on this particular issue. And I just want to vent my little piece on it. Right? Now, as a previous caller rightly said, if it was made through the Federation, I had no problem with it. I have no problem with it. But if it was made how you all are saying it through the CNN reporting and things by the distinguished president of America, I think that will show a lot of bias, and that could be wrong. And I want to believe we could see a situation developing where the opposing team who they have to maybe meet, I think it might be Norway, or one of them, I think it might be them, who beat Brazil yesterday. They might lodge a serious complaint on that, because I didn't know that could happen that way, where the team you're playing, Prime Minister or President in this case, could make a call to the President and they reverse a decision like that, and using some old long time law or long time thing. So I was watching it closely and see what's going with that. I mean, it's very good to be dishonest on this team, right? To know that they know that they will build a strategy knowing that particular player might be involved in the game. Now to come on here, some phone call was made and that is rectified. So it's an interesting development. I don't think I ever heard about that happening in the World Cup, but I wish the best for the tournament going forward. All the best. Thank you. I'll give a minute.
One thing I think though from the World Cup being held in the United States is that it obviously is going to increase even more interest in terms of Americans getting involved in what they call soccer. Because there has been a surge in interest between the women's team and the men's team. So you have a lot of young girls who play soccer as part of their school, curriculum and stuff like that. But this will increase even more interest in the game, because America has always been behind the rest of the world in terms of soccer and the appreciation for that game. But so this can only, create even more interest, especially if the U.S. team keeps moving forward.
Yeah, well, anything that they're ready to, they're ready to fall out for it, and they really make great progress.
Yep.
So that's how serious they are.
They pour the resources behind it.
Yeah,
and they treat it seriously, because for a lot of these big countries, it's also about your representative of the brand of the country. So all of this is adding to your brand in terms of your own country's prestige, and certainly China does that. China hasn't emerged yet as a force in football. I don't know how come yet, but because those other countries in Asia like Japan and South Korea seem to be ahead of them at this point. But don't worry, I'm sure China is working on how they can improve their food. How they can improve it. Yeah.
We have a caller there. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Sir Charles.
Morning,
Richard.
Morning, caller.
It's what take place there yesterday. That's a wrong thing take place. If the American player get a red card, he has to serve his ban or 1 month suspension. Whether the federation call FIFA, them not supposed to side with that. He have to sit down and take his suspension. And if Donald Trump call president of FIFA, and there's a wrong thing take place too. So what is going on here? That's so bad and terrible for the game. So we gotta look at it at a microscope, what's going on? Donald Trump siding with FIFA and FIFA siding with Donald Trump?
Well, that's a controversy. That's a controversy. And, can political leaders influence FIFA's decisions,
And anyhow, whether he play or he didn't play, Belgium is going to beat them and put them out in the World Cup.
Well, only time will tell us that now, right?
Well, the time will tell tonight.
Yes.
And we will see that. That is unacceptable for the game. That is so bad. Because I watched ESPN, FC, and Donald Trump Papa tweet telling FIFA that they do the right thing by the thing of the ban for the player. We doing on that. You are not right making that tweet. Something wrong. And that bad. Terrible.
Okay, no problem. Thanks very much, caller. Thanks very much for your call. Front and center. Virginia. Virginia?
Good morning, folks.
Virginia, I thought like you're going out.
Before the man hang up, here how you bringing that factor into it?
What's that?
Become player?
No, well, I didn't. That you will hear off the air.
No, I hear it. But anyway, but I thought Trump hated black people, and so it's a good thing the fella wasn't white. Then there'll be another controversy. You understand? It's a good thing the player was that white fella. Anyway, look, the fact is that we don't know if he made the phone call himself, right? Definitely there was a reaction and a protest state, okay? All right? So that's where it stands. But look, man, at the end of it all, on the field, it will prove everything. But you know what? The U.S. already going at a disadvantage right now. Let's face it, right? Because of the 47, or you all know him as the Orange Man, because of his unpopularity, with a lot of people, right? The U.S. going in with a handicap, regardless of whatever game they play, even from the start and from this point on. Right? So, as I look at it, man, hey, I think they're going to melt down like the great tasting Belgian chocolates that I think we are going to do as far as the game is concerned. And let's face it, guys, we're representing CONCACAF. Hopefully they can get Wendell on board. Right? But as I stand, even Abraham from Sweden and Thierry Henry, they themselves stated, why did that guy go to the the VR to verify whether it's a foul or not? But I guess
no, but that's part of the game now. That's part of the game now. Yeah. That is part of the game.
Well, yeah. And I think he just wanted to make sure that nobody can say he didn't go check the monitor.
No.
So you know what? It is what it is, man. And may the best team win, but enjoy the Belgian chocolates, right? So later.
All right. Okay. Yeah. And the that is part of the game now. The video assistant is part of the game. Caller, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Happy Monday.
Captain Ron, good morning to you.
Yeah. I'm wondering, the FIFA president, he needs to be removed. Because Donald Trump is not the president of FIFA. And by the laws of FIFA, there's no political interference should be allowed. And he broke that law. And now he needs to be removed. He has what you call contaminated the whole World Cup right now. Whether you want to back whoever side and wish whoever side, the whole thing. So every other president, if Belgium lose, Belgian president could call. If America lose, President Trump will call again. So that's what he's saying. So he has set of presidents. It has been contaminated. As a matter of fact, he needs to recuse himself and remove the United States right away. The ban. Just ban United States for a whole year. That's what they do. If they find you, let's say, one of the players on steroids or drugs or something like that, they remove them. So and now you have political interference just as damaging as that. All right. Yeah. Anyway, I hope to see you guys soon. I'll be in Trinidad. My aunt passed yesterday, so.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. The whole family have to come on there. All right, guys. Have a good morning.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't blame President Trump for the decision of FIFA. President Trump will cross whatever line to defend America's interests in whatever way. But it's for FIFA, as the head of FIFA, to reinstill that, look, we do not tolerate political interference in sports, and the referee's decision stands. And this is what happens when somebody gets a red card. There's a 1-match suspension, and that's it. That's all that FIFA should say. Now, I take the point of people saying if the American Federation had objected and there was a review, and that review says, okay, we think that there is enough evidence in terms of the official review requested by the American Federation that we will defer the 1-match suspension. That's a different thing. But if a politician and the head of a country calls and you comply with what they request in whatever way, that's cause for alarm. Hence, it being a trending story across the planet because of the circumstances as it played out. But I don't think that the entire US team should be removed for that. I think the blame falls squarely on FIFA's decision-making process.
Yeah.
They are the ones that have the power to say yay or nay.
Yeah. And you're right.
I can't fault President Trump for wanting something. You could say whatever. You could make whatever request.
Yeah, but as you acquiescent,
so FIFA as the governing body to decide.
Yeah, and from some reports coming out of CBS, they say that the U.S. Soccer Federation was also actively involved in trying to have that overturned, and they also identified that there were also contacts from the White House World Cup Task Force, included they call a guy by the name of Andrew Giuliani and other U.S. government officials in discussions with FIFA. Yeah, so plenty of discussions apparently went on behind the scene. Yeah. We have a caller.
But anyway, we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Morning.
I tend to agree with Richard. Ultimately, the decision rests with the FIFA organization. But presently, the organization is heavily influenced by Mr. Infantino. And this is not the only decision that he has made that has brought the association into disrepute. He is the same person who donated, who offered the first FIFA Peace Prize to Mr. Trump. And Mr. Trump accepted it because he has a Jones for the fact that Barack Obama was given the Nobel Peace Prize. So much so that when he didn't get it, he blamed the Norwegian government. So much so, I think it was either the Norwegian or the Swiss government, but he blamed the government, even though it's not the government responsible for offering that award. This is a very vile person. And even if the US Football Federation thought it necessary to make a case to FIFA, he didn't have to jump in the fray as a president, knowing fully well that they co-hosting the thing. That is how vile he is. He couldn't just stay on the side and look at it and let it unfold. Now, from my perspective, brought a stench over the whole World Cup. It's most unfortunate, but as a caller said earlier, that wouldn't make a difference. It will still be defeated by Belgium, and if I were the person involved who committed the foul, I would have refused to play under those circumstances. But clearly, he wouldn't do that because he's seeing this as an opportunity to play on the biggest stage in world sport, But it's a very sad thing, as a ardent football thing, because there have been many decisions in the past that were questionable, and they just had to let it pass. And I took the position when I saw the foul that while it wasn't deliberate, it still reached the level of the possibility of seriously damaging an opponent, which is where that stands in FIFA law. Unfortunately, Messi had a similar incident, and he wasn't even given a yellow card. But just how that was allowed to stand, so the foul by the US striker should have been allowed to stand, the suspension. Right now, the game is in disrepute. Very unfortunate.
Okay, no problem. Thanks very much, Mr. Sal. Yeah, because
Well, I know a lot of people will probably be supporting Belgium, but you know me, I'm supporting the CONCACAF region because I always find, there's a sense that they want to dismiss the CONCACAF region as being, wannabes. So from that perspective, I'll support the US. But certainly my nephew, who I trust on football matters, says in his opinion, the US has the stronger team. And so he's thinking that the US could pull it off, that he thinks they have the stronger team against Belgium. Yeah.
Well, we don't have too long to wait again.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I did not say since we started this morning? I did not say thank you to all of the people who came, and I'll say tomorrow again, to all of the people who came out to the play over the weekend in San Fernando. I want to say a big thank you to coming out to support live theater.
Okay, you're passing in a dead zone. I'm losing you. All right. So while Richard gets his internet organized, today we have two important games again. So we have Portugal going up against Spain, and you have the United States playing Belgium at 7 p.m. The Portugal game is at 3 p.m. So you're having two fantastic.
What time is that game?
Which one is it? The US game or
No, the US game.
US game is at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know what happened there. Why you weren't hearing me? But what I was saying is I wanted to thank all the people who came out to the play over this weekend in San Fernando at Naparima Bowl on both Saturday and Sunday. I mean, thank you so much for supporting live theater and coming out. And this play has been running since late February, believe it or not. And we are now in July, we're in July, and audiences are still coming out to see this play. Thank you so much. We had a couple of, I know we suddenly had a minister in the government there over the weekend, and somebody else from Parliament, I think, was there over the weekend, but they came backstage and stuff. So I want to say thank you to everybody who comes out and supports live theater. We continue to support live theater. It's fantastic that people have been so responsive to Scandal and Cedrus. We'll have one more show for Scandal and Cedrus, which will be our final show. And it's just one show, and it'll be in Queen's Hall on September 12th. That will be our final show for this production, Scandal and Cedrus, as we move to our new play, which will begin soon after. So one more opportunity that you have to possibly see this play, and it'll be September 12th. So you have some time. It's a little way off, but that'll be our final show in terms of Scandal and Cedrus. But thank you again for all of the hundreds of people who came out over the weekend. We really appreciate you supporting live theater.
Okay, let's take this final caller. Good morning, Carol.
Hi guys, morning.
Hi, Carol.
Good morning.
Richard, I wanted to let you know how much we enjoyed the show. My daughter and I were there on Saturday night, and it was hilarious. I think that's the funniest play I've ever seen. And of course, the Mason was in her element. It was great.
She was.
I laughed till I cried off all my makeup. It was great. I really, really enjoyed myself.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, no problem, Carol. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know Laverne, the winner of the ticket, also came on Saturday night. So I hope she had a good time too. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm happy everybody had a good one going forward. Okay. And they said, well, we look forward to see what's happening as we get closer to September. Yeah. But as we go, people, because it's almost 9 o'clock, don't forget to pick up your tickets for the Color Week Cooler Cruise, as we are having our Cooler Cruise on the 15th of August. right? So come on and meet the team. Come and hang out with the breakfast crew. Come and hang out with all the DJs at NETT Radio. And we look forward to you being part of it. Your tickets are available at Rumbox in St. James, Crosby's in St. James, also at Bobby's Bar in Kirap, and Fats International in Arima. You can also go to Key Square Fashions if you are at Eastgate Mall or West Mall at C3 Center. Right now, the tickets are just $200. And after that, you pay $250, right? So get your early bird tickets now. Yeah. All right, Richard, so you can wrap.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us on the Breakfast Show this morning. We know you have a choice in what you watch and what you listen to, and we are so happy that you chose us. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do today, and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health, despite the weather. Put a smile on your face because the weather is pretty, looks like it's just going to be a gloomy, rainy day. But have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And of course, we'll speak to you bright and early tomorrow morning. You have been listening and watching
The Breakfast Show.
Get up, get up. It's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned.